Welcome to the Draft Rankings podcast, the Draft Rankings show here on YouTube and on podcast. I am Cody Carpentier, back again, this time with the mini show. This is a brand new show. You'll see it for the remainder of draft season into 2026, 2027, and beyond. These are going to be short videos, less than 10 minutes. Every video, less than 10 minutes every single day. That's the goal. That's what I'm trying to accomplish here, covering the 2025 NFL Draft, 2026, and beyond as we go through. Today is day one. I just want to remind you to go over to YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, if you're not watching here, follow the Draft Rankings on YouTube, the Draft Rankings on Twitter. You can also follow it, thedraftrankings.com, and you can follow it wherever you get your podcasts. If it's not up yet, we're working on getting the podcast version posted. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. Please click that like button, click subscribe if you are here. Let's start off first and foremost. Day one, Monday, post Super Bowl. I want to talk about my favorite prospect. My favorite prospect from the Senior Bowl just a couple of weeks ago was Carson Vinson, the offensive tackle from Alabama A&M. Now, over the course of these shows, I'm going to go live not live every single day, but I'm going to be on a show every single day in the morning for 10 minutes, 7 a.m., crack of dawn. We're here. It's not always going to be offensive line. It's not always going to be defense. It's not always going to be quarterback. We're going to be mixing it up. We'll do a mock draft on one day, trying to get those top 10 picks right. But I want to start with the offensive lineman because this offensive lineman did not get the reputation coming out of the Senior Bowl that some others did. Gray Zabel had a great time at the Senior Bowl from North Dakota State. Carson Vinson, however, came in at 6'6" 7/8", 314 pounds, almost a 7-foot wingspan, and 35-inch arms. I met Carson Vinson. I shook his hand. I talked to him at the Senior Bowl. He played right tackle. He played it consistently every single day against Kyle Kennard, Barron Sorrell, Princely Umanamillion. It was LSU, Ole Miss, Texas, you name it, across the Texas A&M, across the board during the Senior Bowl. This kid's coming from Alabama A&M, HBCU. Carson Vinson stood his ground day after day after day, all 3 days down there in Mobile for the Senior Bowl. I saw 2 bad reps, and they were 2 of the same things. And I was sitting next to Alex Dunlap from rosterwatch.com, and we're talking about it. What's his problem? What's the one thing? The one thing, when he's on his kick step and pass pro, he can tend to get a little unbalanced to the back right here. So it opens up the inside a little bit. Again, he's playing at the HBCU level. We talked to him in the media availabilities, and he said he did have offers to leave Alabama A&M after his junior season, but he decided to stay at the University of Alabama A&M because he said, in his words, "I'm a bad man bulldog to the day I die," and he wanted to stay true and loyal to Alabama A&M. Now, we've seen over the course of the last 5-10 years, Ali Marpet from Hobart, Cody Mock from North Dakota State, Quinn Miners from Whitewater, Gray Zabel this year from North Dakota State as well. Titus Howard from Howard, HBCU. Carson, that was back in 2017. Carson Vinson needs to be the next offensive tackle from the HBCU, needs to be the next player from the HBCU to be drafted in round 1 of the 2025 NFL Draft. Carson Vinson is a very athletic tackle, a great human being, a great tackle, a great football player, and well-deserving of more people to watch his tape approaching the 2025 NFL Draft. More people need to go to this pro day at Alabama A&M. More people need to converse about Carson Vinson. Go back and watch that Senior Bowl tape because this kid deserves to be spoken about. I can't believe through 2 days at the Senior Bowl, nobody was talking about Carson Vinson. We're trying to pump tweets out of the Roster Watch account. Why is nobody talking about Carson Vinson? Can somebody please explain it to me? What am I missing? A lot of Shamar Stewart, a lot of Gray Zabel. Hell, I even got some stuff from Thomas Perry from Middlebury, the offensive guard that come from Middlebury, went to the Shrine Bowl. Thomas Perry was impressive. He is your classic farm boy. He showed up. He looked like he was probably in the wrong room when he showed up to the Shrine Bowl, but you knew that kid was here to work. He had the Air Monarchs on. He looked like he just got done throwing about 500 small squares of hay. Before he showed up, he had a gallon of water in his hand, backpack tight. He was ready to work. That kid's going to work, Thomas Perry from Middlebury. He's not your classic. You're not, I should say classic. He is your classic. He's not your new age offensive lineman. He's a classic offensive lineman, kind of like Cody Mock, like I talked about a minute ago. But those two guys, Thomas Perry and Carson Vinson, they deserve the conversation. But I bring up Thomas Perry because even he was getting more conversation, not round one, because it's a different player. He's a guard. It's a lot different than you're talking about an offensive tackle with a 7-foot wingspan at 6 foot 6, 314 pounds, 35-inch arms, and the athlete that Carson Vinson is, and the greatness that he showed against SEC talent on a down-by-down basis. It was impressive, and nobody talked about him. And then on day 3, the great Todd McShay was talking on his show. We need to talk about Carson Vinson. He said, I'm hearing that there's some teams that don't believe he'll make it out of day 2. Day 2 is obviously round 2 and 3. He needs to be a guy that barely makes it out of round 1 if he makes it out of round 1. Imagine the Philadelphia Eagles are sitting there at the end of round 1. Lane Johnson potentially retiring soon. You can bring in a Carson Vinson to learn behind a Lane Johnson and play right tackle. Then you have Jordan Mailata on the one side and you have Carson Vinson on the other. A colossal mistake by the NFL once again that Howie Roseman picks up Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Quinyon Mitchell, Carson Vinson. That's the move. The Draft Rankings podcast is here, and we're done. I'm Cody Carpentier. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow morning.